Doodle-doo-doo-doo. Meow. Hello everybody, welcome to Xucaboa 100% Vanilla Baby, episode number 21. As always, I'd like to say thank you, gracias, obrigado to new Xucaboa citizens. Here we have Roman Urrutia, Tiburon Martel, Brandon Jacobs, and Mike Adams. You may have noticed I've been gone a little bit. I'm back. Episodes will continue regularly again. And here's a photo of Xuca jumping at a fly. I hope you like that one. It's one of my favorite photos of it. We're going to take a quick look at what we did in the last episode a couple weeks ago. We just added a few more piers. We added this nice Pebbles and Luna clock tower and the Suzanne S.H. Maritime Museum to the industrial waterfront. It was more of a tutorial episode. Didn't do a whole lot of expansion, really any expansion, just added some details and piers and things like that. But I realized that I need to unlock a milestone really quickly, so I decided to do this. I'm cheesing out an entire section of the map just as fast as I can, trying to get bumps in population so that way I can reach this milestone, big city, 14,000, and get my crematoriums unlocked. That's really the main driver in this. But when I was doing it, I figured, you know what? Why not keep going? I've got this whole section laid out. I might as well just go until I can't go anymore. So here I reached 26,000. This is a very, very fast time lapse. I'm not going to explain what I did. I think it doesn't matter too much because this is not the game I'm trying to play. I'm just kind of cheesing. And when I say cheesing, I mean I'm exploiting the game a little bit to make it so that I have unlocked all things, as if I had clicked the unlock all mod from the very beginning. So I don't have any intention of keeping any of this. But just for reference sake, so you know, the first milestone, it took me 20 minutes to get. Second one took me 24. Third one took me 35 minutes. Fourth one took me 55 minutes. That last one took me 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then finally, this one here at 65,000 took me 1 hour and 27 minutes. And you see, I unlocked the Heavenly City achievement. First time I've ever played the game this far without using any mods or things like that. So it was pretty cool. And now I'm going to do a quick save because I definitely don't want to ever have to do that again. But also, just in case this experiment goes horribly wrong and the rest of my city collapses and all the buildings get abandoned or something like that, I don't know. I'm going to do that save. And now I'm just going to dezone everything and delete all the roads and everything else that I put in, all the services, all those weird off-ramps. It's gone. It's like it never even happened. All right? Take a look. Nothing. Nothing to see here. I did buy this tile to the north during this cheesing. I'm going to do a quick save again now that I've deleted it as a 0.2. But I unlocked that tile, and now I'm going to unlock the rest because I have access to all the tiles. So I think I'm going to take this one and this one. I'm going to have that corner of the map with the island, with the river that forks around it. I think that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to go get the rest of our river by the big forest, and I will get the tile just to the west of that actually goes to the other side of this peninsula, of Roslyn Peninsula, with the train yard. So that's going to be Xucaboa, 100% vanilla. Perhaps I'll do 25 tiles mod or 81 tiles mod in the future if I want to expand, in which case it will no longer be 100% vanilla. It'll be like, I don't know, 99% vanilla. I'll still play it in a vanilla way if I do that. But we'll see. That seems like a million years in the future. So we'll just save that again before we get to work. Here's a picture of me in the shower and Xuca attacking me. She always likes to go in the shower when we're in the shower. So you have to let her in, and then she meows, and then she attacks the glass and everything like that. She doesn't love to be wet, but she doesn't hate it either. She'll jump in the shower and hang out. Now we're going to work on our actual neighborhood. on this entire side of the map. We turned it into an island by building that canal, so I don't have a name for it yet. But this island we're going to start working, and I'll do a little bit of terrain work, prepping the area. I kind of think of building on hills and everything. It's like doing construction, right? You have to really prepare the terrain before you just build something. You can't just start plopping things and expect it to look really smooth or good. I mean, if that's not important to you, it doesn't matter. But for me, I really want it to be smooth, you know? So I go back and redo the roads a lot every time I'm building, and go back and forth and see what happens. You see that section now is a lot smoother. We'll do the same thing here. We'll smooth this out. I've got a little bit of extra soil I'll put over it on the other side of the map. There I did a little bit of lane mathematics. I put a 2-lane on the other side of that off-ramp, so that way the 3 lanes breaks off into the 2 and 1. Now I'll connect the 3-lane again coming off of that, so they all reconnect the way they're supposed to. And instead of going over the hill, I'm going to go around it. I'm going to snake it around that hill. Now I'm going to build the bridge across the canal. But actually, no, you know what? Before I do that, it's nighttime, it's too dark to work. Ooh, ay caramba, we had a little bit of flooding there for a second, I don't know why. At nighttime, when I can't see, I think I'm just going to do a time-lapse of a nice scene. A very, very fast one to speed the time by, but that way we can take a look at the city. I'm going to build those bridges across, upgrade to highways. I had to build with roads, because when I did it with the highways, it would want to put in a pillar in the middle. So I do the regular road first, and then I upgrade it, and then it's all right. Just a workaround I figured out. And here, I'm gonna make that just a little bit curvy for, you know, variety's sake. Not to have this big straight segment. But right here, I'm gonna work on the turnaround. And to make it a nice looking turnaround, I found that if I branch off of the end of the highway at a 60-degree angle using angle snapping, and I see that it says angle, it comes out as a nice fork if I do it on either side 60 degrees. So you see I just did it like that. I'm using the freeform road tool. It's not a perfectly symmetrical fork. I'm gonna, you know, this whole, nothing about any of this here has any symmetry to it, but I think the fork should be natural looking, and using the 60-degree angle for the forks made it come out pretty nice. Look at that. It's like a really smooth looking fork. Now I'm going to kind of compact the rest of this by bending that inside the median instead of having that big unusable area. I'm going to try to get the road in as close as possible. And that makes this area right in the middle just a little bit smaller. We'll get rid of some of the trees there, the default map trees. Now we'll go to our next nighttime lapse. I think we'll do it here in the Canal District because it's a nice place. See the ferries going to the Sports Monkey ferry stop. Got the Triple D Cities Plaza there. Still, I really like how that neighborhood came out. That was one of my first real vanilla experiments. Because usually when I do European, I would never just do a European district. I would have mods and everything to make it so that you could really have wall-to-wall stuff using Move It and Plop and all kinds of stuff. Here I'm just going to fill in this this small triangle because, to be honest, you know I love planting trees, and it's been a while, so I had to get my fix of planting trees in. So we just do that a little bit. Here I'm going to do a little more lane mathematics, make all these parts 2-lane, and then have a 4-lane branch off. So this way, it's only two segments. I did it as a 4-lane on the front end and the back end. So the 3-lane opens up an extra lane, and then the 4 lanes split into 2 in one direction, 2 in the other. And I did that on both sides. So yeah, just using a lot of bushes, a lot of the kind of the same trees and things that I used in the Xucaboa Beach jungle area. I think that's kind of a nice look, and that'll be like in this area right here, this jungle. We'll do our next nighttime lapse here at Xucaboa Center. But I'm really liking how those trees go together. The palms, the bamboos, those big dark green trees, and the green bushes. I like the green bushes almost better than I like those tropical bushes, those big palm-looking bushes. But they have a place too. When doing the forest, I feel like they don't really contribute as much as the big green bushes that you get. Now we're going to start working on this neighborhood, and to do that, we have to figure out a way to actually connect into it. So I was thinking, trying to get creative here, instead of doing a perfectly circular roundabout, I would do kind of an oval roundabout, just a little bit longer. I thought maybe that would give me some more options with connections. It would look a little bit more unique. I don't know, I was just trying it out. And as you see, as I'm doing this, I just keep trying to figure out the best way to connect into it and make it so that it looks good. And then every time I did it and I zoomed out, it looks like a frog or a monster. I don't know, an alien. It's a weird looking thing. I didn't really like it. It's kind of an octopus, you know? And I just keep adding all these connections. So it's nighttime again. We'll zoom in here on the JCC Farmington Square and just take a look at this neighborhood. I get nostalgic for this neighborhood. It's a nice area. I haven't spent a lot of time there lately, so maybe in the future we'll get back there and really revamp all the older neighborhoods in the city. I'm deciding right now that I don't like this. I'll try an oval still, but it looks kind of like a peace sign in the middle there, and it's just not nice. I'll just do a regular perfect circle roundabout at the end of the toll booth. Could be problematic with traffic, but I'm not too worried yet. If it gets bad, we'll deal with it. We'll come up with some solution. I'll add nodes in between everything. I don't know if you saw that really fast. I put in the diagonals inside to create nodes in between those 4 sections. So we have 8 nodes in the roundabout. Should be a little bit better for traffic stuff. And here, I'm looking at this, still getting an octopus feel, and I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a bridge, and I think I'll use this little node that I put in just a minute ago, and branch off from there, because this is a one-way. I don't need to worry about it being a smooth angle on both sides. It just needs to be a smooth angle on the one side. You're coming off the bridge and you go right over to the right and merge off. So I think that'll work fine. And because we did that, now with this hill street, we will, my thought is that I'll do it as an underpass. It'll go underneath this roundabout bridge. And just make sure that our section of road fits. It does. Now we can start smoothing out the hill and placing the road. And I think this will be a lot nicer. Instead of having that connect into the roundabout, which is just going to create more traffic and more, just make it less aesthetically pleasing, I think this way it makes it a little bit cooler and will relieve some of those potential problems. Still not totally sure how I want to start the connection to that neighborhood, but we'll do that tomorrow. For tonight, we'll just look at the Marcio Technology Institute, the MTI, and the Builder Magazine headquarters. Got the Neferuru sauna. That was my first neighborhood I detailed, and I get really nostalgic for that. I've come a long way since then, but it's it's my first big detailing project in this city, and I miss it sometimes. I think sometime soon I'm going to go back to the first tile. I love that first tile. I spent so much time on it, but there's still it has a lot of potential. There's a lot to do over there. So I want this to be kind of gridish, but not a grid, if that makes sense. And so I'll do the one corner as a 90 degree. And then the rest will have that curvy kind of terrain following situation going on there. A little bit of rise on the side. I'm going to put a park zone in between the beach and that area. And then I'll build 2 neighborhoods, one on top and one on bottom, either side of the viaduct. The top one is called Robin Square. I think that's a decent name. bottom one, I'll call Sunset Beach. Not because of Sunset Harbor or anything, but because you can see the sunset from that side. And I'll call the park Sunset Hill because I guess the same thing. You can't see the sunrise on that side. You can only see the sunset. The reason I'm putting a park, I don't really have a lot of space to make it a nice park, but I want to use the gates. I like the main gate and I like the side gates for the look I want to achieve. I'm not trying to cheese. This is going to be a major corridor for people to walk from the beach up to this neighborhood. And so I might as well get some money from that while it's happening. I won't make it free just yet. But that's not my purpose with this. Okay? I just want to have those nice gates. And the parking lot on the bottom is a bonus. So just using the zoo path instead of the regular path, and I think that's going to be a good look. We're going to add now our actual, like, I don't know if it's a town square, but like the town square, okay? And to do that, we'll use these two plazas right next to each other with the tan tiles that go on. We'll run our infrastructure now, get some water going, get our power going from one place to another. Temporary power lines, of course, not going to remain there. And now we can start laying out a little bit more. See, I've got that nice rectangular section, kind of grid, kind of rectilinear is the word I'm looking for. But now instead of having this street connect onto that one, I'm gonna have it go right up towards that park street. I think that's a better look. And I don't have to, I'm not even gonna worry about having a perfectly smooth curve right there. I think it's fine. Let's do our next nighttime lapse at the Tornado of 2030 Memorial Park. I have turned off disasters for now. I need to remember to turn them back on. But for right now, they're turned off because of when I was doing the cheez. So here's a picture of Xuca with her favorite ball. I just did a quick save because all of this episode that I'm doing right now took me like a week to not only record, but then to edit and all kinds of things. So I have a couple of saves in the middle. All in all, it was like 5.5 hours of video that I'm fitting into this 37 minutes. I apologize if there's a lot of time lapsing. I'm starting to do that a lot more, and I don't know if that's really the best thing to do, but I haven't figured out a good way to sit and watch my city grow for hours and make a video out of it. So time lapsing is what we're doing. Please let me know in the comments if you have opinions on this, all right? Opinions or suggestions or anything. If you're like, Mike, the time lapse is fine, I'm gonna keep watching, then all right. If you're like, you know what? Every time I'm watching this, I'm getting motion sickness, I don't like it, I'll say, all right, maybe if that's a problem with people, I will do something else. So I'm just putting in some zoning, some high density. Everything right now is high density. Put in a police station, put in a community school, make sure that solar panel has its southern exposure, it's facing to the south. We're gonna do a little bit of landscaping right there so we can put in a basketball court for the school, and it sits nice and flat. But most of this right now, once I start zoning things, I'm going to have to wait for them to level up to get the look, because I'm starting to really want to explore as many different building styles as possible. And to do that, I have to have them level up, and that can take some time. And then they might level up into something I don't like, and I have to start the whole process over. It takes forever. So down in the beach side, I've turned this into a tourism and a self-sufficient building neighborhood. And so you see I've got those types of buildings spawning. But with the self-sufficient ones, they're really great buildings, but there's a specific one, or specific two really, that I'm looking for by the street entrance, and it's going to take me a long time. I think it took like 45 minutes to get the two buildings I wanted. I'm trying to keep the camera as smooth as possible, like as still as possible for as long as I can. So this way it's not too much when I'm time lapsing. But you see, those are the two buildings I want, those opposite facing quarter rounds. I think they look really nice as like an opening to that beach from that street. Now, just as buildings level up, if I like them, I'll keep them. If I like them, but I want to see if something else better comes along, I'll let them continue to level up. I want this to have some density. This is like a modern neighborhood. It's in a beachy area. It's on a hill. This reminds me of a lot of places I've seen in my life where you have buildings like this. But I don't want it to be too crazy. I want it to be very, very controlled. I have a certain aesthetic in my head. I don't really know how to describe it. But if everything was just a very tall building, it would not be that aesthetic. If everything was a very small building, it would not be that aesthetic. I want a specific mix, and it all will depend on how they look together. Right now with this nice hotel, I waited a little bit to get this hotel. I'm just doing some detailing around it. With the nature reserve tiles, blend in quite nicely, and some trees and things like that. Put a fountain, a couple of tables. This is like my little mini detailing project for this episode. And instead of using the park path with the trees, I'll do it without the trees and just have a lot of trees on the outside. Now I want to spawn a swimming pool right here. There is a 2x3 asset that is a tourism asset that is a swimming pool, and I think it would look really good next to the hotel. So that's what I'm going to try to do there. But I'm telling you, sometimes I have really good luck and I get the asset I want, and sometimes I don't. So with this swimming pool, I just tried and 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 tried, and I just can't get it. It just will not spawn. Of course, you see it spawns right next to the right here next to the cable car thing. I don't want a swimming pool next to the cable car. I want it next to the hotel. So I wait and wait and wait and wait, and it just doesn't come. It just does not show up. This building I think I'll keep here. I think that's nice by the stop, by the cable car stop. Put in a hotel over there. The tourism commercial buildings, there are some cool ones, but I don't know. I find that some of them always spawn and some of them rarely spawn. So you got to be very patient. Here's a photo of Xucaboa plant. I'm putting in more photos of Xuca in this episode because it's a little bit longer, and also it's a lot of time lapse. So we need to have a break from that. You see, I couldn't get the pool, so I decided, you know what? I'll just keep this club. I was getting impatient. Maybe in the future I'll go back and try that whack-a-mole game again until I get a swimming pool, but for now we'll leave that club. Club 801. Now back up in Robin Square, we'll continue expanding the city blocks. We'll kind of make a nice area for this school with the basketball court, turn it into its own little section there. And then just slowly add more zonings. One building at a time is really what I try to do. This one, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It looks like a little too cartoony, but it could work too. I don't know. Maybe if I just have the one, it'll be okay. It's all just, I don't have specific buildings in mind. They just have to look good next to each other, and they have to look good in the spot they're in. All right, there is more than one building for a spot. Almost all the time, more than one building will look fine. But I don't know if it's just, this is my project, my artistic vision, I guess you want to call it. I don't know. I just have this scene in my head, and it has to, if it doesn't look just right, I'm gonna delete it. Here I'm filling in some trees, vegetation, doing the roundabout a little bit, putting those tropical bushes in the middle there. I think that looks nice. Instead of zoning this little block, I'm going to put a tennis court because I think that'll look good. I kind of want all the buildings on the edge of the hill to look out towards the inlet, towards the water. I don't want there to be the back of buildings facing this strip of jungle on the hill. Because I feel like most of the back sides of the buildings don't actually look that good. Just checking my cemeteries real quick, because they will fill up and then I have to empty them into the crematoriums, but they're still good. They're in good shape for now. Just adding more trees, more of my style. I'm really starting to enjoy this biome, I guess I'll call it, for this map. Here I'm going to put in a little community garden, because I haven't done that in a while, and I like those too. But I'll make this one a little bit bigger. I'll put some trees, things like that. Here I'm going to frame this section with trees, because I don't know what I want to do with it. I don't want to have any buildings on that side, because it's coming off the roundabout. But that'll be something we'll look at. See if we want to change it at all, you know what I mean? Now here, we need a high school on this side, so I'm going to put in a high school. I put in a bigger road first, and then the high school, and then downgraded it, so I have that little space in front. I'll use that to my advantage in just a moment. But I'll do a quick check at the buildings, see which ones I want to mark historical, or rezone, or destroy, or anything like that. So you see with the high school, I've got that strip right in front of it, that extra zonable area. I'm not going to zone anything there, but it'll allow me to place a fence in front of the high school, which I think is a more reasonable look for what I want. Now I need to put something in the back. It's on a hill. That plaza could have been good, but it slopes down too much, and I already have two of them, so I'm not going to do that. This one slopes down way too much at the ends, so I think I'll actually put a skate park for right now and see how I feel about that. Sometimes my video freezes when I record, and I don't know why. So there we go. I've been using Windows 10 video editor, and I always have a problem with the export lately. Like, I can't get a good export. And it's so hard to proof each video and see before I record the audio that there's not just a couple seconds frozen. So right now I'm just not even bothering. I think next time I'll use a different video editor. So far, every video I've done has been like a vanilla video edit. I just use the default Windows 10 video editor that comes in my computer. But that's something else I got to get better at, is video editing. You know, I'm starting to get pretty good at the game, I think. But then making videos is a whole other skill set that I have to really start to practice and improve. I put in a gravel road down in front of the quay wall on the beach, so this way I can zone just a few things and also place those lifeguard towers. And I want those kind of beach assets with the picnic tables and umbrellas and things like that. I think that looks really normal. When I go to the beach here in Lisbon, I see those at every beach. You've got some section with the seats. You got to pay to get the seats. So we'll have a little bit of those. They kind of blend in because they have the dirt. I think it works. Instead of zoning this spot, I'll make a mini plaza with those tiles, just to add a little bit of space between the buildings. In a tropical area like this, I feel like I would see less wall to wall, and that there would be spaces in between buildings. I'm not sure why. It's just this vision I have in my head. I'm sure there are plenty of examples of wall to wall beachfront buildings in a tropical area. They just don't look that good when they're not perfectly joined up together, so that's the idea. That's what I'm talking about. Noise pollution isn't too bad in this area. We've got a lot of tourism going on. So I want to make sure that it's not getting out of hand. And yeah, you see I'm just inching my way up the hill, zoning little bit by little bit, seeing what buildings grow, waiting for them to level up. Right now I'm going to put in some more jungle on the other side, because I know I'm not going to zone anything over here yet. Just a quick plop like that. And there we go. Now we're starting to get what the scene looks like. I haven't gone down to the beach just yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Did it just freeze again? It just froze again. I don't know why it does this. I have exported this video like 20 times, and each time it freezes in a different section for a few seconds. I don't know why. Anyway, here we go, back at it. I'm sure we didn't miss too much. But I'm thinking we'll put in a tropical garden right over in that corner, because that could look cool. Now I'm looking at the high school and the skate park, and they are extremely bright. If I put those big trees in front, it doesn't really hide any of the brightness, but if you look from space, look at this thing. It's like, I'm sure there's somewhere on another planet, some alien is talking to its kid. The little kid alien is like, what's that bright star? And the parent alien is like, that's just the high school in Robin Square. That is bright. The future for those kids is looking bright. They need some sunglasses, you know what I mean? I'm getting a little weird now. Let's just go, here I'm gonna detail, put in some more tropical trees, a couple palm trees by the park, and put in a path right across it by that crosswalk, so that way people can get around that corner. I think that's a nice flowery area. I'll put in some flower beds into the Sunset Hill Park, maybe get a few more entertainment points. And I'm gonna change the skate park to the volleyball court, just like we did on the other side of town so long ago. I'm going to put in the volleyball court with the high school, because we're in a tropical map. I feel like that might be the local sport, is volleyball. Maybe people just play volleyball a lot. At the high school level, competitive volleyball. Just doing a quick check, see what buildings we like and what buildings we don't. It is very hard for me to do a lot of time lapse, because when I grow a building, I want to look at it from every angle and like move the camera around so much in just a few seconds. And then if I speed it up even a little bit, you can't tell what's going on. It's too fast. So with this episode, I was aware it was going to be a lot of time lapse. I tried my best to keep it as smooth as possible. I hope it's not too bad for you yet. There, I just emptied my cemeteries because they're starting to fill up a little bit. Not a big deal. We've got crematoriums now. This city is practically self-sustaining. You see at nighttime, my budget is going down. I'm not sure. I actually haven't played around with budgets too much and like with the nighttime sliders. So I don't know. I'm sure I can make that better. But I've noticed that I'm sticking around like 2.3 million. In the daytime I earn money, in the nighttime I lose money. And you know, it can vary by like 20 grand or something like that, $20,000, $50,000, but it doesn't, I'm not losing money in the long run. So it's all right. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up. I just put in a child healthcare center on that side by the park. I think that's a good idea. Always good to have that to increase the birth rate. These I don't like. I'm gonna get rid of them. We'll figure out what to do there soon. But this is the look from the beach. It looks pretty good. And now let's start naming things. We'll call this the Hotel Roman. Hotel Roman. This is your hotel now. One of the tallest buildings in the city. Has a nice plaza. This tropical garden we will call the Tiburon Tropical Garden. I think that looks good. Yeah, take a look around. Nice tropical trees. This nice bright high school we will call the Mike A High School. All right, imagine you might have been a president of this country in the past, and now we're naming the high school after you or something. And the same with Brandon J. We will call the community school the Brandon J Community School. So this episode we only have the 4 names. We put in a few other things we could have named too, but maybe in the future we'll give those names or not. We'll see. Just taking a look around. Let us now just kind of, we'll speed up just to get the lighting right. And this way there's no dark shadows. And we'll just take a quick look at what we did. I'm going to end the episode here pretty much. So, got the roundabout. You're coming into the new neighborhood following this street. Got some nice altitude with the buildings, some elevation. You got this nice community school. A lot of green space in this otherwise dense area. Some blocks are entirely green, but then you got these nice high rises next to it. You got the tropical garden. Bike path on the street, people riding their bikes. Some small shops over there. And then when you go down in this direction, you will see that we have this plaza, which looks over the tops of the buildings that are down on the beach. For the most part, you can see right past them. If you're living in these high-rise buildings, we'll speed up the camera a little bit so we get the sun to illuminate this side of them. You see why it's Sunset Hill. Now we look up and you see that you got the Hotel Roman. You got this nice jungle hill going around here. In the back you can hang out and relax. If you're at the hotel, it's a pretty luxurious spot. You've got all these nice buildings. We've got one mega high-rise. I guess it's not a mega high-rise, but it's the tallest residential building we have in the city so far. You got these beach umbrella seats, all that. Looking across the inlet, it's probably not the nicest place to have a beach, but it's a nice looking beach, so we'll do that. Anyway, this has been Xucaboa 100% Vanilla Baby, episode number 21, and I will see you next time.